Hey, it's Rosemary here. How you doing? Okay, it's a basic need, a desire within every human being to expand, to become bigger, to do more good work, to live a free life and enjoy that life. However, it's also not the experience of most humans, really, because they can't actually believe that it is possible for them to get all of that. It seems simplistic to them to think that they can fulfill their dreams, that they can fulfill the desires and everything inside of their heart. In fact, when I use the word dream, they start to think I'm just kind of slightly loopy, that I can think that they can live out their dreams. And yeah, I get it. We live in a world where there is a lot of hunger, there's a lot of lack, there's a lot of disease, there's a lot of horrible stuff, really. And so there might be the thinking, how can I then say that every single human being gets to live a free life and enjoy their life? And I don't want to demean anybody's suffering in any way, but I would ask you this. How is your concern with all the poverty and the horribleness in the world? How is it actually helping the world? Right now, you're listening to me, so somehow you are blessed enough to be able to do so, okay? And it's only as you start to recognize all the blessings that you currently have that you'll start to create more of them. And then you can get to changing the world for other people if you so choose, right? Vague and vehement ideas about the injustice in the world will never bring about change, okay? It is human beings deliberately working for good, having first saved themselves. It's those people that will then bring about change for a lot of other people. And when it comes down to it, I know it may sound callous to say, but everyone, every single of the 7 billion people on the planet, everyone needs to raise their level of consciousness. Okay? The truth is, if you distributed all the wealth equally to every single person on the planet, within a few months, things will probably return to the status quo, to the current status quo. Because if you cannot believe in your good fortune, then you'll do whatever it takes to get rid of it. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but how much are you self-sabotaging right now? You say you want to get rich, but then you get fearful about it and you refuse to take the action that you need to take in order to create the desired wealth. You tell yourself that only the evil get rich, or the selfish, or you can't be nice in order to get rich. And so that stops you from doing anything that will make you rich. You also tell yourself that it would be too risky. And so again, that stops you taking the action that you must take in order to create wealth. And worst of all, you don't even take the time to understand that your underlying thinking is the cause of most of your misfortune. You accept that this is the way it is, and that's just the way it is, basically. So you do nothing to correct it. And that's unfortunate, because right now, I just see this wall between you and every single thing that you want. So there's you on one side of the wall wondering why things seem so hard and why it's just nothing seems to come the way you intend it, even though you've manifested, or you're trying to manifest, and you're trying to do all the affirmations and you've prayed and all of that kind of stuff. And there's you on this side. And there's all this great stuff on the other side. And all it takes is a simple decision on your part to get it all. But the path to that simple decision, it seems really, really tough. Okay? Basically. There's a parable of the Wasteful Son, or the Prodigal Son. Okay? It's a dude who decides that he's going to forcefully take all his inheritance and go off and squander it because, like I mentioned, his consciousness had not quite risen to the level where he could have it all and use it all in a manner that would cause it to multiply rather than dwindle. So there probably was some kind of guilt associated with the way he got the inheritance as well. So within a very short time, all his money had disappeared, okay? As it does when you're not ready to receive it. You've all heard of the lottery winners that get that money and then it's gone, basically. And initially, this prodigal son, this wasteful son, is too proud to return home to his family to be looked after. But finally, after hitting rock bottom, he suddenly realizes that he was making his life unnecessarily hard for himself. And so he made that simple decision to repent and go back home. And in that moment, everything good started to come back to him again. In that moment, okay? You may or may not know this parable, of course, but the thing to distill out of it is the journey he had to go through to get to the place of decision. You have a similar journey, and it's found on the narrow path, although you might start broad until you get to the narrow path, okay? And there are certain lies that you're believing right now that hold you back. They hold you on the broad path. And until you get to the point where you're willing to accept that they are in fact lies, you will not make the decision to create all the wealth that you want, okay? Or to receive all the wealth that is just on the other side of the wall. So you may have to work hard at it because, as in, you may have to work hard at getting onto the narrow path, but the truth is, unless you think you deserve it, you will never get it. And how long it takes for you to get to the place where you're able to make that simple decision is completely up to you, okay? You don't have to wait until you get to rock bottom, but you might. You may choose, of course, just to ignore the desires in your heart and just go back to settling for whatever you can get, and that is the path that most people take. But hopefully you will do the internal work, because you have to do that internal work as well as the external work in order to get the result that you want. To take you from the broad path onto the narrow path, you have to do both sides of things. So let's talk points here. Number one, deal with your worthiness issues. You do deserve every single good thing, but do you believe it? Really? Is there any resistance coming up for you when you consider the fact that you deserve every good thing? Or maybe it's because it's not been your experience to date. But again, it's kind of chicken and egg. If you don't believe you deserve every good thing, will you do what it takes to get every good thing? And while you don't have every good thing, how can you believe you deserve every good thing? So which one needs to come first? The action to get it, or the feeling that you deserve to get it? You need to break the cycle by telling yourself that you do deserve every good thing, regardless of appearances. Look at the thoughts of resistance that come up and replace them where you can, or just acknowledge them, but determined to tell yourself that you deserve every good thing anyway until you overshadow any doubt about it. Remember, this is a trained response, so train yourself to think differently. Number two, declare what you choose to have with confidence. Stop filtering out, oh, this dream is good enough, or that dream is just too unreasonable, or this desire is fine, or that plan is okay. No. Make your dreams big enough to excite you and to challenge you. Write them out. Write them out. I say this whole writing thing quite a lot. Write out what you consider to be your purpose on this planet. Write out your money goals. Write out your relationship goals. Write out your ideal day, and confidently decide that it is yours. Number three, cast away doubt by acknowledging and turning it around. As mentioned in the first point, you just kind of need to look firmly at that doubt in the eye. You look it in the eye and you turn it around. So you may think that no one you know has attained the levels of wealth and happiness that you want, and so you doubt that you can. You can turn that around and realize that you are a different person from everybody else, and you can figure out how to create the life you want, regardless of what anybody else around you has done. Okay? After all, there are a great number of people who live the life you dream of, so why not you? So start to turn your doubts around, or acknowledge them and move on from them. Basically, replace them with something more useful to you. Number four, learn what you need to do. There is always a way to gain the information you need to flourish. So I can understand you don't know what to do in order to actually get the results you want, but you can find out, okay, if you will let yourself. So in this day and age, you may be able to find a lot of it for free. The question is whether you'll organize it in a way and that is helpful to you, and whether you will use it, okay? And then number five is that you create channels of wealth, channels for wealth to flow to you, yeah? If you want to create wealth, if you want to do it on your own terms, then you need to create various channels for that to happen. If you don't create the channels, don't expect the wealth to flow. If you do not create the channels to serve the people you're called to serve, why expect to fulfill your purpose? You have to create the channels. So learn what you need to learn and apply it by creating channels now. And to be even more specific, you need to create the songs, you need to create the books, you need to create the programs, the speeches, you need to find the products that will sell and produce profits for you, as well as make a difference to somebody else. Yes? You need to name your service and tell people about it so they know to avail themselves of it from you. All of these are channels for wealth to flow to you. And also, very importantly, you need to build an audience. Yeah? Okay, so if you work on all these 5 steps that I've mentioned, go back and listen to it if you're not sure what they are. If you work on all 5 steps simultaneously, not step by step by step by step, you will start to break down that wall that is between you and everything you want. Okay? Between you and your fortune and your purpose-driven life, the one that you wake up to feeling, oh yes, about. So do those 5 things. The question is, will you do the work? It's time to fight to create the life, the business you want. Okay, you can get my free success resource, The 70 Simple Secrets to a More Fulfilling, Successful Life at rosemarynonnynight.com/impact. Or if you're really ready to step things up, I'm taking on one more client. So if you want that spot, you just need to private message me on Facebook, my page. If you're listening, depends on when you're listening this to. If you're listening to it on Facebook, you know where I am. If you're not listening to it on Facebook, then you need to come over to Rosemary Nonny Night on Facebook and send me a private message. And yeah. Let's get this thing happening. You ready? Okay then. Bye.